Oh, yo, somebody sent me this, and Charlemagne, a week later, after he's been ridiculed, made fun of, clowned on his own show, and I guess he took some shots at some of the YouTubers like ourselves, saying that, oh, everyone said I got cooked. Uh, uh, uh. This was so low. This is even low for Charlemagne. First of all, just give this context, right? Forget about political loyalty for a second and just watch the interview. It's four black people, three black guys, three black men, and a black woman. Forget about political loyalty. That's a 71-year-old man. That man old enough to be your grandfather. He's probably Charlemagne's father's age. Charlemagne's like 40 something. And you talking to this man with no respect. This man didn't come at y'all crazy, was respectful from the beginning, just wanted to get his message out. He knows where he's at. He's on a liberal platform. This girl's being argumentative for no reason. She's talking over him. They was just rude from the get-go. And I'm like, respect your elders. I mean, what happened to respecting the elders, especially in your community? Like, people, like a black woman, an old black woman, that's like my grandmother. I'm not going to disrespect some old black lady. You know what I mean? You don't do that. But that kind of stood out to me. But here it goes a week later after he was sunned, because that wasn't an interview last week. It was supposed to be an interview. Him and old girl tried to turn it into a debate, and it ended up being a lecture. Class was in session. Right. And if anybody who watched that and you felt like, oh man, all he did was just trash black people the whole interview, then this ain't for you. You don't know what accountability is. And this is why liberals have always had an uptick on black people, because they tell you what you want to hear. And the conservatives tell you a lot of times what you need to hear. And don't nobody want to hear the truth. You know what I mean? So it's easy to listen to a Hillary Clinton when she's sitting there with Mary J. Blige and just buttering you up with all of the good stuff and blaming the system. It's easy to root for that versus Candace Owens or Larry Elder or somebody like that. And they're selling you a stronger medicine, and it might be nasty, but it's the medicine that you need sometimes, and people don't want to hear that. And I'm not a Republican either. Now, Charlemagne gives this man donkey of the day, right? This was his way of getting payback. And it was so much, hypocrisy from him. This guy was sitting there, and the whole time, him and old girl was just rigging the narrative, the whole interview, the system. This guy put out a book like 5 years ago called Black Privilege, Opportunity Comes to Those Who Create It, while he's sitting in a chair with a cigar in his hand and then hanging out in rooms with Steve Colbert, Tommy Loren, this person, that person. But he's telling you all this time later, he's pushing that liberal narrative. He's a puppet. They're paying him to push a narrative he doesn't even believe in. He don't even believe in the stuff he's misspewing. They're paying him to spew misinformation on a daily basis to brain F you. It's like y'all don't get it. This man is a family. This is a married man with 3 daughters, and he's on the radio 5 days a week playing butt jokes with dildos and sex toys, making gay jokes with DJ Envy for entertainment. He don't, but you would think this, you wouldn't even think this was a married man. He don't practice what he's spewing out here. He know right from wrong. He probably don't even let his daughters watch The Breakfast Club, but he'll talk about sex jokes at 7 o'clock in the morning while your kid's getting ready for school. Like, this show is wild, man. So, he does the donkey of the day segment. He brings up the fact Larry Elder didn't make his goal, which he said on the show. And then they're trying to spin the narrative. If you watch the whole interview when they were talking about the systems, and Larry Elder, for everything he said critical about black people, he had a stat, he had a record, he had facts to back up everything. And now they're trying to spew it. He said in the interview how every time the Democrats have lost an election, they've always did an investigation, they've countersued, whatever they've sued. They went into the whole thing. Trump did the same thing when he lost. He said, if I don't get on this ballot, I will look into it and do the same thing. Now he's doing it. He's suing. Now you're trying to rub it in like, oh, Larry, we told you about that system. Like, y'all are so, like, this is so weak, man. A week later, you attacking a senior citizen because he put you in class. And that's all it was. He wasn't nasty. He didn't raise his voice like old girl did. He didn't curse. He didn't call nobody out their name. He was just breaking down facts. And in Envy, case in point, Envy had one thing to say about loans, and we already know what loans is. I mean, no one's born with a bad credit score. I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's not your skin color. It's your credit score, bro. I'd have been turned down because of that, because it is what it is. You got to build up. But Envy was just sitting there soaking it up. I mean, and then this is the Breakfast Club, right? A show with two guys, two men, two fathers, two husbands, two entrepreneurs, and they letting this female that is a guest host control the interview, control the room. She's speaking over the guests. She's being rude. There was so many times where they should have cut her mic off. She was on Zoom or whatever. Like, bro, y'all pull your skirt down, man. Y'all men or what? Y'all gonna let this girl just come and take over the show? Like, man, like this, that whole thing was sad. And like I say, they don't like the fact that analytically, they looked at their analytics, they looked at the numbers, they seen the backlash, they seen everybody ragging on them, and they like, wow, this really blew up in our face. Charlemagne, for everything he could say, the fake intellectual that he is, he was stunned. And every time Larry Elder hit him with a punch, he would try to pivot to a whack joke. Like he asked him, who cut your hair? He asked him, of course, have you had a Negro wake-up call? It was always some kind of joke he tried to pivot to, or just when he said something about living in a fascist country, it was always something, you know. And then once again, there's one point in that interview where he's looking at the computer, reading an email or something about, oh, well, the Republicans don't support trans and LGBT. And this. I'm like, bro, dude, you don't even support that. Like, stop. They're paying you to spew misinformation. Like, you don't even support that. So stop trying to front and acting like, oh, well, they don't support that, so I'm not with. This guy's a clown, man. All right, to completely denounce the fact that he's a Democrat when we already know he is. I mean, I don't know. People still are gonna watch, and it's sad. You know, it's sad. But like I say, it's gonna be hard. And like one interview, as good as it was, is not enough to unprogram decades of programming that the Democrats have done on black people. It's gonna take more than one good interview. I know a lot of people saying, well, why didn't y'all give him $1? Like I said, it's gonna take more than one interview to get black folks to vote Republican. Some black folks have never done it before. I haven't never done it before. Be real. You know, like I say, it's always easier because the white liberal, and Malcolm talked about it back in the day, the white liberal will tell you what you want to hear and will play that I could be your white savior to you. I can save you from this system because you're never going to overcome the system. You can't do anything. They always selling this idea that we can't do nothing because the white man on our neck. It's 1955 philosophy. Like, stop it, man. Like, I know niggas that fly planes, bro. I got a coworker my age, 30-something black man. This man's flying planes. One of my homeboys just became a firefighter for New York Fire Department the other week. Like, you could do what you want to do out here. Trust me. You know what I mean? I'm not saying racism doesn't exist. I talk about it a lot on this channel, but I mean, come on, dog. The excuses and not being held accountable, I'm just not with that. I don't know how y'all grew up. I guess growing up, y'all people didn't sit y'all down and tell y'all about yourselves because y'all don't like any type of real, raw criticism. And like I say, as long as the liberals are willing to tell you what you want versus the black conservatives that'll tell you what you need to hear, and that's exactly what it comes down to. That's why they hate Candace Owens, because she gonna tell you what you don't want to hear. Yeah, she's married to a white guy. So are some of your favorite rappers and celebrities. They married to white guys and white women too. So what difference does it make? You know what I mean? I see it all the time. It was Gabby Sinebay's married to a white guy, and they blow it up all the time. Oh, look at her. She's in love. Like, you know what I mean? Like, half of y'all already doing that. So you just don't like what they got to say because it's true. No one's bashing nobody. But, I mean, to get this man donkey of the day, like, come on. That's not going to change the fact that you got clowned and the fact that the Breakfast Club was exposed. You know, and I don't know how the show is still on air. I mean, this is, like I say, it's bad when you got a platform like that in 120 markets and you got clowns spewing misinformation to try to discourage people. Then at the same time, you put out a book called Black Privilege. So I don't know what his deal is. But he thought he was cooking this morning with that, and he thought he got his, you know, that makes him feel better, clowning somebody for failing. But like I said, if you ain't ever failed at anything before, then you haven't tried enough shit. You try enough shit in life, you will fail at some point. It is what it is. It's no shame to be, like, butthurt about it, but to laugh at another man's failure because y'all disagree politically. And like I say, I'll never understand the loyalty that black folks got with this party. I'm like, we're the only minority race that has a loyalty to any party. There's no Jews, Italians, Asians, they don't have no loyalty towards no certain party. They vote for who has their best interest, period. That's how we should vote. But what do they do every 4 years? They put rappers with voter die shirts on, right? And then they put Charlemagne and them to spew their message every year because they know who's influential amongst black young people. Unfortunately, he has influence on young black people, so they use him. And he's just one of the many. And they'll just tell you to vote just for the sake of voting. Exercise your right. Your grandmama and them marched. You should vote. And they just want you to vote for no purpose, really. No policy. They don't guarantee you anything. I mean, they might throw out a little bait like Joe Biden said he was going to relieve student debt. But they don't offer anything and just tell you to vote because you should exercise your right. And niggas line up. But I'm like, man, but yeah, this is, I guess this makes Leonard feel better about himself. But let me know what y'all think. Charlemagne giving Larry L the donkey of the day. Hit the comments. I'm out.